Hey traders, Clifford back with another video on trading the charts. So in the last video, we spoke about the head and shoulders formation and how it's great for finding tops and bottoms in markets. However, today we're going to talk about what I believe to be the most powerful technical analysis formation in all of technical analysis, the one that allows us to catch the biggest moves throughout market history, and that is called the narrow sideways channel. So with that being said, let's get rolling. Let's talk about this. The narrow sideways channel, what is it? And why is it so powerful? Well, you've probably heard that back in the 1980s, gold went to the moon, and everyone who got in early made small fortunes and things like that. Or you've heard about markets that just exploded out of nowhere, and people who got in early were able to catch the big moves. And that's what trading's all about. I mean, the whole point of in my opinion, trading is you want to learn how to catch the big moves. Now, it's not always possible. You're not always going to catch the big move, but a lot of times there are moves that happen, and if we can get in early and be able to spot those moves, we can also be able to catch those larger moves in the market. So here's an example of that. Um, this chart we're looking at here is actually crude oil, but again, this applies to any market. Doesn't matter if you're trading stocks, crypto, commodities, Forex, whatever your favorite market is that you trade, definitely you want to be aware of this formation. So narrow sideways channel, basically what it is, it's pretty much like it sounds. It is a channel, but it's a sideways moving channel. And you want to think of it as a consolidation. So here's an example. Here's crude oil, right? So let's go back in time, and I'm going to show you how this would have worked. So like if you look at the chart, you know, if you just look at a chart, you may not see it right away. But if you remember in my last video, I told you markets can move three ways: up, down, or sideways. Well, sideways is actually the most powerful of them all because even though it's consolidating, you want to think of it as the market is consolidating and it's like winding a spring. The longer you wind the spring, eventually it's going to snap. And when it snaps, they snap big. So that's what you want to find. You want to find where is the market winding the spring. So how do we find that? Well, basically you pull up a chart and I'm going to show you. So here we're going to go to, actually, let's go back in time to demonstrate this. History is always the best teacher. So I'm going to go back in time to last year, May 11th, 2020, right? So here's the market. Now, no one knows what's going to happen, but we're trading it, right? And, the market's moving, whatever. As you see here, it's making new highs. So it's not moving sideways yet, but keep watching. Now, as you see, we're starting to kind of move in a sideways channel. And here's how you spot the channel. Watch this. I'm going to show you. So you see how. So remember, in the past, I mentioned the market can move down. That's a strong downtrend, or the market can move up. That's a strong uptrend. But what about this? Well, if you look at this close, you'll see this is a pattern. And this is the narrow sideways channel forming. So what you do is you take out your tool, kind of like a rectangle tool, and draw a rectangle around it, just like this. Okay? And you kind of want to find the range because that's what this is. This is a market that's caught in a range. Now, sometimes these channels can be boring. They could be like watching paint dry. They're just not doing much, like it's just kind of like going here, hitting the top of the channel, coming back down, just kind of like trekking sideways. A lot of people fall asleep. That's the worst thing you could do. Never fall asleep in a sideways moving market because if you do, you'll miss what's called the breakout. And that's where the lion's share of profits are going to be made. So watch this. Let's keep going. So we're trading sideways, right? kind of just sideways, moving sideways until, okay, still moving side. Oh, okay, there we go, right there. That's, my friends, right there, that's what you want to see happen. The breakout, right? Now this channel was, and by the way, these channels do not happen very often. For your information, they don't happen very often. They happen sometimes maybe once a year. But if you spot one, you're going to really be able to kill it in in the market, because watch what happens. So here, this channel started in May, maybe May 2020, right? And it ended where? November. So we're talking, maybe like I don't know, maybe 6 months. So that's a pretty big channel. Anytime it's more than 90 days, that's a big channel. So this was almost 5 months, 6 months, whatever. But then it broke. So this is a buy signal. You do not want to trade the channel, in my opinion. I mean, some traders may try and trade this consolidation here. Me personally, I think it's kind of just like, you know, spinning your wheels, whatever. Because, I mean, you're really not going to make that much profit because the market's not moving big. It's just kind of consolidating in a sideways range. But when it breaks, you want to be like a cat. Think about it like the cat who's waiting for the mouse to come out of the hole. Maybe we want to jump when we see the mouse come out of the hole. When the breakout happens right here, when it breaks above, and if you remember my last lesson, support and resistance is the most powerful, um, concept in trading. Support and resistance. When it breaks above resistance right here, you want to go long. You want to be a buyer. Do not be a seller on a breakout of a narrow sideways channel. So let's see what happened. So now we keep going. Boom. We got in the channel. Oh, by the way, sometimes markets will come back and, like I told you in my last video, retest resistance. Here it's testing it again, right? But when it tests, this test is actually a second buying opportunity. Or for people who missed the first breakout, get in on the second breakout. And let's keep going. Boom. And look at this thing. It is starting to just take off to the moon. Remember the concept, winding a spring? As you see, the spring is winding, the spring is winding, spring is winding, and boom, the spring snaps right here, and we are off to the races. And look at this move. Now, I mean, you could say, well, I mean, yeah, but that's in the past. How do you know it'll happen again? History repeats itself over and over, my friends, and I'm telling you, if you look at long market consolidations like this, sideways channels, you'll see throughout history, gold in the 1980s, stocks, I believe, also in the .coms, and lots of other ones. I'm going to show you a few more before this lesson's over, but just so you know, now once you get in, once the breakout happens, a lot of people on the news, they'll be buying once the breakout's like around here, and they already missed the money, that the lion's share of profits. You want to get in here because this is where the lion's share of profits are going to be made. Everyone else will be buying up here like, oh, it's on the news. Crude oil, it's now at $60 a barrel. Quick, buy it now. We think it's going higher. They're already too late, because even if they do get in, they're probably going to make some money, but not nearly as much as you could have made when you got in this trend early. So let's keep going. Let's see how high this thing's going to go, because I'm curious myself. I don't remember actually how high this channel went, but it looks like it's moving pretty high. So look at this thing. It's just a pretty big uptrend now, and we're holding the trend there. So look, we've already moved from $43 to $60 a barrel. I mean, that's huge, and it's still going. Look at this thing. I mean, it's like going to the moon, right? Eventually it hits a top, of course, all markets do. And here we are in August of 2021, where in my last update I had mentioned crude could be forming a top. But anyways, as you see, if you look at this channel, right? I mean, look at this thing. It's a monster. It's like it went from 40. What is this? What is this here? $44, right? All the way up to a high of $76. And trust me when I tell you, crude oil is not the only market to do this. But let's just measure the price range real quick. Look at this. This, my friends, that's a strong move. 73%, roughly there. But let's look at one more, okay? Because I always try and keep my lessons, not too long. Um, Everyone's favorite crypto, right? The one that starts it all, Bitcoin. Like, if you look at this chart, you'll see something similar. Now, again, it took me a while to train my eyes to find these because you know it's not always easy to find, but once you train your eyes, I'm telling you, you'll be able to find it. I learned about this from one of the trading classes I took many years ago when I first started trading, and it's just been such great information that I learned in those beginner trading books and all that. But here you go. See, look at this. There's the channel, right? This happened. When did this happen? Okay, this was like last year, April 2020. So on the news, everyone was saying like, "Oh, Bitcoin, it's not doing anything, or it's going to sell off." Forget the news. Just look at the charts, and that's why the charts are so powerful. Like you see here, here's kind of like a channel forming, right? And then we got. Actually, this is like almost like two channels, but similar idea, Like, look, you wait for the breakout, boom, and then look what happened. Bitcoin went to the moon after this narrow sideways channel breakout. So all I can tell you is if you got in here, yeah, those are the people who made the big money, of course, because I mean, look, it moved almost what, 400%, something like that. I don't know. So no, even higher. Look at that. It moved. Was I right? 400? Yeah, 390%. So people who bought in at 12,000, you heard about, oh yeah, yeah, I got in Bitcoin, I killed it, and look, they got out at. I mean, obviously you're never going to get out at the top, but you use your trend lines. I draw my trend lines. Trend lines are very powerful. Sometimes, in an uptrend, a strong up move like this, you want to even draw two trend lines or whatever. But the main thing is the channel. You just want to get in when it breaks the channel. So I hope that was helpful for anyone who is new to technical analysis, new to trading, not sure when to jump in markets. And again, these channels do not happen very often, but when they do, you want to be watching because trust me when I tell you, it's the biggest moves in market history. Like I said, pull up some historical charts and stocks that were consolidating for a long time. Look at this. This Bitcoin consolidation started in April 2020, lasted till almost October. So again, when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, once you see more than 3 months, it's going to be exciting. The breakout throughout history, more than 3 months means it's going to be a big move, and you don't want to miss it. So one last thing, and then we'll end this lesson. This Most channels break out to the upside because a lot of them are let's say undervalued or whatever. But sometimes you'll have channels that are like this and they break out to the downside. And it's the same strategy, you just short it instead of buying it. So that's about it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, put your comments below, and let me know what you guys think of narrow sideways channels, if you've ever heard of it before, or if it's a great formation, or if this is new to you, or if you knew about it in the past. Let me know your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. As always, trade what you see on the charts, my friends. Trade well.